Hi folks, it's just me again, Walter Shepherd. Just a couple of things. I've been meandering in prayer with the Spirit, going over some of the things that are going to be happening with the 1,000 years of peace. Two things that I'd just like to just chat about. Again, nothing serious, no drawings. But during the 1,000 years of peace, did you know that there's only going to be one language spoken? Possibly two, but the other language will be Hebrew, and that will be in the Middle East part. But apart from that, all the Gentiles, all the non-Jewish people, they will be speaking a single language. And we will learn all about that once we get to heaven. We're going to be taught a different language. It's a kind of language that incorporates all languages, almost like bits and pieces from every single tongue that's out there. Because if you've noticed, in the English language, there's a lot of foreign words in there too. You know, words that we take for granted, like say omelette. I mean, that's a French word, and so many other words like that too. There's Spanish words that are worked into the English language, even Chinese words that are worked into the English language. And also, if you noticed, if you listen to other languages, be they French, be they Spanish, even Chinese or Japanese, every once in a while they will throw in an English word, because in their language they don't have a word for that particular English word. Does that make sense? But anyway, so there's going to be no confusion in terms of language. The Lord is going to bookend what Satan had caused when he inspired Nimrod to build the Tower of Babel, or the Tower of Babel. Because the Tower of Babel is more or less mankind's use of technology to shake their fists at God, saying, "Look what we can do, God. You know, we don't need you, God. So you know, this is the ultimate part of our technology. This is the ultimate things that we can do." And so they all got together, because at that time the world only spoke one language. But it was because of their rebellious, defiant attitude, that's when God struck them, and everybody ended up speaking a different language. And now, once Armageddon happens, the curse of Satan will be broken. So the world will go back to just speaking one particular language, whatever that language is. It'll be some sort of combination of every single tongue and tribe that we have out there now. So communicating with people from one part of the planet or one continent to another, even though the whole world is one big continent. When the world changes, geographically, you're still going to know where North America used to be, where South America used to be, where Africa and Australia, where all those languages or where all those continents used to be. Even though they'll all be joined together, there will still be regions where we can say, "Oh yeah, that used to be Australia. Oh yeah, that used to be Asia." But all the people on the face of the planet during the 1,000 years of peace are all going to be speaking one single language. So there won't be any confusion from one side of the world to the other. And the other thing that I would like to talk about is, or chat about, or meander about, is one of the purposes of the 1,000 years of peace. And you've heard me talk about how we're going to build up technology, how we're going to be creating a global culture that lives in safety and security and luxury and leisure. By the time we get to the end of the 1,000 years of peace, the whole planet is going to be basically one large vacation spot. All the technology that we create, all the crafts, land crafts, water crafts, aircrafts, even spacecrafts, they're all going to be designed to bring peace and relaxation to people, to bring rest and relaxation to people. And that's the same with all the cities too. There won't be any pollution, there won't be any stress, there won't be any bills, there won't be any money, there won't be anything that we have today that burdens people. Restaurants will offer their food free. Open markets in various communities that will be offering food. It'll all be done for free. And so by the time we get to the end of the 1,000 years of peace, we'll have a total global population of 12 billion people and thousands and thousands of cities all over the place, all having different levels of population in them. But, and this is the beauty part of it, at the end of the 1,000 years of peace, God is going to make earth his home. He's going to basically combine heaven and earth together. All the infinite dimensions and qualities of heaven are going to be spliced together with our time-space universe. So when God moves the heavenly city out of heaven and puts it smack down on the face of the Middle East, over top of Israel, Assyria, and Egypt, then all the elements, all the dimensions that are in heaven will be spliced, basically. It'll be intersected with, it'll be combined with, it'll be spliced together with the time-space universe. And I've talked about that before. Also, being able to travel from one galaxy to the other, or from one planet to the other, will be done easily. God's going to change the physics of the universe. He's going to change the laws of nature. So space traveling will be done as easily as ground traveling. I've talked about that before. But the main point that I want to make in this meandering is that when we finished building everything that we can build, and we've designed everything that we can design, and constructed everything that we can construct, when God makes earth his home, everything on the face of the planet is going to be eternalized. Right now, and even during the 1,000 years of peace, the laws of thermodynamics still come into play. In as much as if there's a machine or a device that has moving parts, it's going to create friction, and over some period of time, it's eventually going to break down. Every kind of machine that we have right now that has moving parts will eventually break down. And that's the same during the 1,000 years of peace. So by the time we get to the end of the 1,000 years of peace, we'll have everything in perfect working order, right to the point where when God combines everything together, everything that we create and build is going to be eternalized. It's going to be made to last forever, so that it will never, ever, ever break down. If you make a paper airplane that flies just the way that you want it to fly, when it's eternalized, you can crumple it up, you can unfold it, and it'll fold back into that perfect plane that you have. If we make a land craft, some sort of a ground vehicle, an aircraft, spacecraft, watercraft, once it's eternalized, it'll never ever again break down. All the buildings that we create, all the structures, all the bridges, all the houses, all the roads, they will be eternalized, so that they again will never ever break down. So that during God's new heaven and earth, as opposed to Jesus' new heaven and earth, which is 1,000 years of peace, Jesus has his own new heaven and earth that he's building up. And when he builds that up, he's going to hand over his kingdom to God. He's going to give it back to God, and then God will eternalize it. And earth then will become the greatest vacation resort in the entire universe. And I've mentioned that before. When God brings his holy city down to the face of the planet Earth will be the brightest star in the entire universe. So you can go out to the farthest galaxy at the very end of the universe, and when you look up into the night sky, you will see the brightest star there, and the brightest star will be God's home. It will be the planet Earth, the greatest place for rest and relaxation, for delicious food, and a place for leisure, a vacation resort, and that's about it. So while we're in the 1,000 years of peace, while we're in Jesus' new heaven and earth, we'll be making things and you wise virgins, keep thinking about the stuff that you want to do during the 1,000 years of peace. Because what you accomplish and what we achieve, all the technology, it will be made to last forever. So it'll never ever break down. And again, during that time, those kind of industries where we work together, where we build stuff together, one part of the planet is going to build something for another part of the planet, and then those two will be combined in order to make a particular object or vehicle or structure or creation or whatever it is. It'll be done easily because people will be able to understand each other from one side of the planet to the other, because we're all speaking one language in order to create the greatest universal vacation resort that there will be at the end of the 1,000 years of peace, when God makes Earth his home. Okay, that's it for now. Be a blessing wherever you are in internet land and YouTube world. Jesus will be here sooner rather than later. So take care, stay in prayer, and we'll see you in Jesus' kingdom somewhere over there, or maybe even somewhere up in the air. Okay, see you later. Jesus rules.